whenever you get by yourself, that's whenever you start to really figure out who you are.
You don't appreciate air till you can't breathe.
It's crazy. Crazy. It's crazy. I had to relearn how to walk, Quan. I think it's important. A solid haircut's important, and it can change people's lives. It can change people's perspectives of everything.
Please, allow me to show you something.
Live.
We floating, baby. What's up, you guys, man? This is Quan Mickel. This is the Savage Mountain Podcast. I am your host. This show is brought to you by Neo Life Physical Therapy and Wellness, also Neo Fit and Neo Golf. Shout out to my weirdos over yonder. They got that joint in Ocean Springs now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a 10K, wherever you can get it. It's called a hole-in-one.
Hole-in-one challenge today, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's today?
It's a $10,000 hole-in-one challenge.
Oh.
I think it's $20 for 3 shots, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to that. But yeah.
Absolute banger, bro. That voice you hear, that smooth voice that you just heard, that's our guest today. Top tier talent, someone that's on their hero's journey. It's continuing on their hero's journey. A flawed individual, but a respectful and an admirable individual. Today we bring to you Hayden Miller.
That camera?
Yep.
Whatever
That's your
camera.
dog.
What's going on? What's going on?
Talk to me, man.
What's up, Coach Life?
Come on, bro. So like, I've had the privilege of watching you. Like, I ain't gonna say like side by side. It's always been like a respectful like bump in, but then we always have mutuals, and we do have a very polarizing mutual friend that's kind of tethered us together. And with that being said, I've seen you, and it's compatible to my brother,
Right.
like that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I seen, and you made the correct or the appropriate pivot. And sometimes we've seen where it's too late.
Yeah.
You know, where wait too late. But you, with grace of God, man, you made that appropriate pivot, and you stayed, and you doing your thing.
Yeah, nothing but a blessing from Jesus.
Yeah,
just
man.
Just so everybody knows that.
So with that being said, like I know you, but the world don't know you. So could you, as we set the table, could you give us an intro?
Yeah, name's Hayden Miller. Born and raised right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Ocean Springs, Mississippi. That's where I was born and raised. Ocean Springs K through 12. Graduated in 2011 from Ocean Springs. I lived in Ocean Springs most of my life. I lived in Biloxi for a little while. I've lived in Gulfport for a little while. But now for the last going on 6 years, I've lived back in Ocean Springs. But yeah, you know, coast guy through and through.
Dang,
yes,
dude.
absolutely.
And my bad, bro. I got my co-host, Bad Batchy.
Hello, beautiful people.
You know?
He's definitely in the building.
Yeah, bro.
in the building.
STB on my end, man. Continuation of shit in the bed, bro.
All
I'm
good,
so
brother.
sorry, bro. That's my guy.
All good, brother.
So, man, you are, I can say, like, some people say, like, Gulf Coast's favorite son, the bad apple of the bunch, the problem child. So as we get to that point where we almost at a point where you inevitable. I feel like you had a potential to be a possible mayor.
Well,
That thing, man.
it's just, man, look, it's just like you kind of, in my eyes, I just feel like you have to have some type of pretty solid story for maybe for certain people to listen to you.
Come on, man.
Listen to advice. You know, something good you might have to tell them. And you know what I mean? Like, I feel like my testimony is great. God is good. I know what he's using for. I know what he's using me for now.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the biggest blessing. You know what I mean? Because once you figure that out and you have peace of mind and you can just keep grinding every day, you know what I mean, for a goal.
Yeah.
And you know your purpose, it changes everything. It changes, you know what I mean? That's whenever you really step in, you know, and become a man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So with that, on that journey, on that journey of to becoming a man.
Yeah.
You've been through some shit, man. And like, do you feel comfortable speaking on like that journey or whatnot? Because sometimes people just need to know.
No, yeah, for sure. I've
Go there wherever you need to go, brother.
Nah, yeah. There, well, you know, first off, came from a very very blessed family. You know, they've supported me through anything I've done. You know, my mom was an educator at Ocean Springs. She was actually my counselor at Ocean Springs Middle School, and then she actually became my counselor at Ocean Springs High School. But she's been in education she retired like after 35 years, and she started in Pascagoula, came to Ocean Springs, was a teacher, went back to school, became a counselor. Yeah. Then she left Ocean Springs, ended up finished at Biloxi, like I want to say in like 2014 or 15. So yeah, everything to her, you know what I mean, number one supporter. You know what I mean? It's and you know what I mean, there's not enough to be said about that. Mother's love. And then dad, you know what I mean? My dad's a solid individual, solid character. He's the number one person I probably look up to. I don't really have any idols, you know what I mean? But I definitely look up to my dad. Just always done it the right way, even with a knucklehead like me. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, I grew up in Ocean Springs, playing baseball my whole life, basketball, football, and that's what I did most of my life, leading up, to before I really grew up. Like I said, I graduated in 2011. Yeah. From there, I had this big idea that I wanted to go to Ole Miss. And I did, and I went to I went to orientation there, and I got my schedule, and I was all happy. That's what I wanted to do since the baseball thing didn't work out, and but I had talked to my parents, and I was just like, I was like, do I want to play baseball, or like do I, do I want to try to pursue that, or do I want to stop playing and just try to go to school? Yeah. And ultimately, I look back and I regret it a little bit, but it's part of my journey. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not just, baseball is my first love. Yeah. Always will be. I follow it. And one day I'm definitely going to get back to the community and coach. My dad was a coach. My grandpa was a coach. They coached me. Bray Hubbard's dad coached me. Yeah. My dad coached his dad. You know what I mean? So it's just like boom, 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 boom.
It's familiar.
Yeah, it's familiar. It's familiar. Yeah. My dad was, whenever he was 21, he was the 9th grade basketball coach at Ocean Springs.
Oh shit.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Before but he wanted to make a little more from So.
Yeah, and ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, he's been out at Chevron for about 30 something years. Yeah, he's been out at Chevron for a while. That's what he ended up doing. But anyways, I'll get back to going to school, and then right before I left, my dad's a fair guy, you know what I mean? Yeah. But he's by no means a dumb guy, and he knew what time it was. He knew what I really wanted to go up to Ole Miss and do. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like it's game time.
Like like I was ready to go up there, try to be a frat star. You know what I mean? Do my thing, and which was totally the wrong idea. You know what I mean? I didn't really have education on my mind. I wanted the experience more than anything. Yeah. And but
that you did.
Yeah, I got that, but I got it in a different aspect. As far as, so right before I was supposed to go, my dad, he was like, son, he sat me down, my mom, he was like, I just don't think it's a good idea, you know what I mean, to pay all this money and you go up there and you mess up, then what? You know what I mean? Then what? What are you going to, and my parents are middle class. They don't have it like that. You know what I mean? Like tuition for a 4-year, you know what I mean? Room and board, like gas, food, everything. And this was back in 2011. Yeah. You know what I mean? Ooh. So, but anyways, he was like, look, if you go to Mississippi Gulf Coast, I'll, if you finish in 2 years, then he was like, because I could go to Gulf Coast because my SAT score free. Yeah. So if he was like, if you go there and finish in 2 years, you can go wherever. I didn't like that idea at all. So I went. I was in the Chevron program at Mississippi Gulf Coast for like, I'd say like 6, 7, 8 months. I think I finished maybe one semester, and I left. And then I just tried to hop into life and figure it out and start working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like you and I'm sorry.
No, you good. You go ahead. It's your turn.
It's like, bro, you got some you got some battle wounds, brother.
Oh yeah.
Got some battle wounds, man.
Yeah. That happened a little bit later, but yeah, I got some straight battle wounds.
So as we continue to progress on this Hayden lifestyle, right? We ain't no saint.
No. Always had good intentions.
Yeah.
But I had to live my life, if that makes sense.
But you know what Post Malone said,
Make my
man?
mistakes.
The pathway to hell is paved by good intentions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's only good. Listen, good intent. Yeah, he's 1,000% right. Because none of that. I mean, you can do all the good in the world. There's only one thing that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
One thing,
man. So like, all right, you get up to Ole Miss, you do your thing. Then you
no, I never even went. So I stayed on the. I was going to MG. I was going to Goshen.
You was in Jackson County.
Yeah, I was in Jackson County, Goshen.
Got you.
Yeah, yeah. Bro, shout out Colin Cooper, my dog. We were going to class. We were riding to class. You know what I mean? Every day, pretty much.
I know Coop was rapping the whole time.
He was in school for a little while.
Colin.
What up, Chris? I was like, where's he at?
Yeah, man. So, all right, bro.
No, we went to school me and Coop went to school before, like, we really popped anything off in our lives, honestly.
Y'all was in.
Like, there was already some motion, you know what I mean? There was already motion within our lives, but.
Got you.
We went to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like.
Yeah, no, we went to school. Just didn't work. Not completed.
Yeah. Okay.
Not completed, but no, we went. Yeah.
Yeah. And all right, now so now we get past that. And now
so
where we at?
I get out of Mississippi Gulf Coast. It was just kind of it was kind of not really drawn out, but you know, my parents really didn't fight me, but they're like, if you're not in school, of course you're going to be working. Because at the time, I'm pretty sure I'm still at the crib. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm still there. And but anyways, from there I leave school and I get into the service industry, man. You know what I mean? And I start bussing tables, washing dishes. You know what I mean? I've done everything in the service, like as far as in the restaurant business. I worked my way all the way up through the years. Like started washing dishes, busting tables, you know what I mean? Figuring out all that back of the house, you know what I mean? Then like food prep maybe was the next thing I did. And you know, I've been multiple restaurants on the Gulf Coast, Biloxi, Ocean Springs, Gulfport, opened up a few different ones. So I did that for a few years, and then I did that until I was about 21, and then for a while I was serving at Shaggy's. And that was like, I had bus for a little while, you know what I mean? And all that. And then, like, as I got a little bit older, you know, I'm still doing, you know what I mean, whatever, you know, my thing. And, but anyways, turned 21, I start valeting at Hard Rock.
Bro,
so that was
so many damn jobs, bro.
Yeah, so I valeted at Hard Rock for about, I'd say probably maybe like close to 2 years, probably something like that. And that was one of my favorite jobs. That was like the first job that I ever like start. I was like, wow, like I was coming home with wads of money, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, because I mean, like wads of cash, because like in a valet, it's different for different casinos, but at the Hard Rock, you kept your tips. You know what I mean? You kept whatever they gave you, you would keep out. I know at the Bow, you would have to, they put it in a bucket and they'd break it down at the end of the day and then they put it on a check. But no, we were getting paid like, back then we were getting paid like $8.50 an hour plus keeping tips. So
you're rolling it in.
Yeah, rolling it in. I mean, you had high rollers that would come in, and this is when I started like understanding, you know what I mean, I guess different things about like people with money and things like that. But I mean, you know, you get to know them. They're gonna give you $100. They like the high rollers. They're gonna roll up front. They want you to park in front of the Hard Rock. There's like a showcase where you can park in front. You know what I mean? And have to bring it to the back because they want to be able to walk out, hop in their car, go.
Get on down.
Yeah, did that for a few years, and then I think from there I went to Island View, and that's Gulfport, right?
Yeah.
Island View. Yeah. I went to, and I started bar backing. Me and Drake bar back there together. Drake Lamy. Shout out Drake Lamy. Yeah, he got Drake, man. He got me that. That was like our first job working together.
So because it was like one part where like you was on the scene, and this is just me just like figuring out the lay of the land. Mm-hmm. And you was everywhere, and then all of a sudden you nowhere. I'm like,
yeah,
what
yeah. Well, I got in a
that magic trick happened.
Yeah. Well, I think it was right after it was. I think I was working at Island View. I think I was 24. Let's see.
You took that free ride?
Oh, what you talking about? Nah, I got my rec first. Yeah.
You got the rec first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carry on, bro.
Hold
story.
on.
Do your thing.
Is that what you're talking about? You talking about up the road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you took that,
that
free
trip.
So Hayden, we trying to learn, bro. What you educate me, man?
Nah. So what you really want me? What you really?
We sinners and saints, man.
What you really want me to get into?
I need you to get there.
I mean,
we need to know.
Well,
because there's people that's in this situation, bro. They've been in this situation, right?
Yeah.
And they ain't able to bounce back from it.
The thing is, I've never publicly spoken about it. You know what I mean? And it's definitely a story that can definitely help a bunch of. I know it can. You know what I mean? I just know it can. Yes, but anyways, while I was, you know, while I was doing all these jobs, I was doing my thing on the side. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And anyway, long story short, I'll back it up. Got into a little bit of trouble on my 19th birthday. It was kind of a bogus charge, but I was guilty of it. You know what I mean? It had to do with marijuana. You know what I mean? A small amount, but the state of Mississippi wasn't letting it go, and it was a very unfortunate situation. You know what I mean? But this was the situation that I myself was about to have to learn from. Yeah, you know what I mean, bro. But even with that, you know what I mean? I was still playing, like, you know what I mean? Because like that happened, but I didn't go to court for some years because it was like that's how long the state took, I guess, to take it to actual, you know what I mean? Because it was over an ounce of marijuana. Yeah. One that was it. 1 ounce, you know. But anyways, they tried to hit me with intent, you know, and it was a bogus situation. And I mean, now, but I have no excuse, you know what I mean? What I was doing, what I shouldn't have, you know what I mean? And I paid the price. But anyways, I guess my situation might have been a little bit different, because I didn't go to court for like 3 years. You know what I mean? It had to have been like 3 or 4 years.
So that term, they call that what? You got lost in the system?
No, I'm out. Okay. No, I'm working. I'm still working. Gotcha. You know what I mean? Like I'm valeting. Yes. I'm doing my thing.
With that over your head?
Yes. Yeah, I'm out there. I'm doing all this with that in the back of my head. Yeah, I mean, what else you gonna do? Yeah, true. You know what I mean? What else you gonna do? And anyways, when I finally went to court or whatever, man, I feel like I won't name any names. I feel like my lawyer dropped the ball a little bit,
Yeah.
but they ended up giving me drug court. You know what I mean? And I did that for some years, and it was tough. Like, dude, I don't know if you ever heard about that before.
No, what is that? Educate us.
So basically it's
This is whenever you jump in and be like, what that is.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask. You said drug
basically,
court is what you called it?
So it's something that Jackson County has it, Harrison County has it. I'm pretty sure Hancock, I would assume. You know what I mean? But it's something to basically keep you out of going to prison. You know what I mean? But keep you very, very, very accountable out here on these streets. You know what I mean? So it's something where it's drug courts, but they could drug test you if they wanted to every single day. You got to call this number, and if it makes a certain noise, or if it makes a bing, or if it's your group, you got 45 minutes, or you got an hour to be there. If you're not there in the hour, you're getting locked up. You know what I mean? Like that. So it's like prison on the streets almost. You know what I mean? Like with ours, you couldn't be around alcohol. You couldn't work at casinos. So you know what I mean?
Oh.
I had
This is only income.
you know what I mean? So at one point, like I had to go work at like Coop's mom. Shout out Kim Cooper.
Yeah.
Golly. I started working. I worked at Old Navy at one point for a little while because that's all I could do. You know what I mean? And it was tough. It was just a tough time. It was just tough, like just thinking about it. You know, and I mean, it's doable. You can complete it, but it's tough. You know what I mean? And it's multiple years. And if you mess up at all, you start back over. And so a lot of people just say, send me.
Yeah.
I'd rather go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And to me, I'm not going to cap, man. I don't want to go.
No. No.
Man, what? Why would I want to, you know what I mean? I'm young. Bruh, thinking about it, bro, this is scary. I think that was my number one worst nightmare. Having my freedom taken away from me.
Bro.
You know what I mean? Like, honestly.
And that's you at what, 19, 21? What, like you 21, 20 at this age?
Yeah, how old are you when you
Yeah,
got
when
drug court?
So
You said it was like 3 years.
yeah, so I was
before.
probably I was 19, 20, 21. I was probably like 22, 23, and then
Ooh,
20, bro, and then I was on it, and then I was on it when I got my wreck. Yeah. So
and that was a bad.
yeah,
you showed me that picture.
So I was on my way. I was on my way to Hattiesburg, and my back right tire blew out, and like freak accident. But there, I had a guardian angel over me. Somebody had their hands wrapped around me. I wish we could slide to a couple pictures of it because I got it on my phone. But you know, my back right tire, it all happened fast, and I don't remember any of it, which is a blessing. You know what I mean? No, like I'm sober. Like I'm completely sober, and I'm literally just driving up to my grandparents' house to see them in Hattiesburg. I forget what holiday it was. Well, October. It happened October 26th. October 6th, 2000. It happened October 6th, 2016.
Bro, that truck looked like a damn tuna can, bro.
Yeah. So they said that I flipped like 15 times or 10 to 15 times, and I landed in some trees, and I kind of like hit the trees and like came down. So I don't, you know, I guess the first flip I got knocked out. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I was wearing my seatbelt, and you know, I was on the scene. I don't remember. The first thing I remember is I remember like leaves cracking, hearing that, because like I'm sitting there like my body, like I can't look down, so I'm on my back and I'm just flat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My ears are ringing, and I just hear leaves cracking, and then somebody goes, "Is anybody alive?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, I'm alive. You know what I mean? I need water. I'm losing so much, but I'm so thirsty. You know what I mean? I'm like, I need something to drink.
Yeah.
And anyways, I pass out. The next thing I remember is just hearing something so loud in my ear, just pop, glass breaking, metal popping, and they were cutting me out the jaws of life. And then the next thing I remember is being in the ambulance, just looking up, and they were cutting my clothes off in the ambulance. They wouldn't let me look down because I was messed up. And yeah, and then anyways, they brought me from there. It happened right by Paul B. Johnson, Camp Shelby, on 49. So they brought me to Hattiesburg Forest General, where would be my home for the day. I was there for like 90 days. I was there for 3 months. Anyways, get to the hospital. And I don't remember like getting to the house, you know what I mean? I'm popping up, you know what I mean? I'm popping up, I'm coming to every few hours, you know what I mean? I'm like, ugh. And, but anyways, so I'm in the hospital room, and they're doing whatever to me. And like, they're about to bring me back to surgery. I'm still thirsty. They won't give me any water because you're not supposed to drink any water before you go into surgery. You know what I mean? So like, I'm begging for water. Yeah. This girl that I went to high school with, she happened to be a nurse up there. This is in Hattiesburg. We went to school at Ocean Springs together. And I was just like, please. And she wet a rag and put it in my mouth and let me suck on it. I was just like, man, thank you. You know, like that was something.
That was something.
And then I just remember looking up, seeing my mom bawling. She just, you know what I mean, devastated. And I remember looking up, my dad, he's not crying, but he's concerned. He's got his work uniform on. I'm like, oh, dang.
And you still haven't seen what you look like from the waist down?
Nah.
Bro, that gotta be fucking, that's...
Nah, because they're keeping my back. They're keeping my, you know what I mean? They don't want me to. And then when I finally did see, which I can't really remember that much, like right before I went back to surgery, this doctor came in. He was like, Hayden, I'm gonna need you to stay strong for this. What's about to happen? So basically, what he did, my right knee was completely dislocated. I had torn my ACL, MCL, and LCL completely severed, done. And I had broke my femur. Like my right leg got completely obliterated. You know what I mean? So my knee was completely dislocated. Yeah. So right before I went back to surgery, like he was like, I have to do this. So like he leaned me back. I had two nurses' hands. I think maybe it was my mom. I can't remember if it was my mom or a couple nurses, but he took my leg and he went, bop. He popped my knee back in place while I was like right there. This is before I went back to surgery. So dude, I was just like, and then, but it felt better like 15 seconds later, it felt better.
But initially,
Man, bro, this is whenever I had never broken a bone in my life. You know what I mean? I went from that, losing a finger, you know what I mean? My leg, we call that the shark bite, my right thigh, because like, I don't, you know what I mean? You just have to see pictures to see it, you know? But I was in Forest General for about 89 days. You know, I begged them to get out right before Christmas. Mm-hmm. And right around Christmas, and finally they let me do it. But man, it was just while I was in the hospital, you know, it was nothing but a blessing. The amount of people that came to see me constantly. You know, when you're in the hospital, people don't talk about this, but it can be lonely.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Especially you see it like it's like I've been blessed to have people in my life, and you got people in the hospital that don't have anybody, and they just there. You know, they're in the bed just there, you know, with nobody to talk to, nobody to visit. You know, they get to talk to the nurses and the doctors, and that's it. You know what I mean? Through my recovery, and like, you know, I had people coming up from the coast constantly. My mom's from Petal, you know what I mean? And grandparents live in Hattiesburg, so I got cousins and aunts and uncles in Oak Grove Seminary, you know, Purvis. So it was, you know, it kept my spirits up to have them come to see me, you know what I mean? But I was down bad.
I was going to say, man, to experience all of that before you even 26.
Let's see. Yeah, no, it happened when I was 24. Yeah, it happened when I was 20. let's see. This year makes 9 years since the wreck.
Yeah.
This year makes 9 years, and
So like, what did that? Like, we wouldn't say like you was that moment having that wreck. Was that the most pivotal moment that made you start on this trajectory that you're on, or were you still like? Did you still have like, hey, once I'm on the tail end of this drug court, once I get through this one, I can be all right. I can still do a little bit, but then that wreck happened.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Yeah, did that make you?
So I'm hard-headed. Yeah, and it's good to admit that. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm way better. As you get older, if it doesn't get better, it's a problem. But as you get older, you don't have any more excuses. You know what I mean? I don't know at what age the excuses actually become null. You know what I mean? But anyways, I mean, I realized how blessed I was, but I don't think I really realized. You know what I mean? Like, I still, because, I mean, I'm never going to be perfect, ever. You know what I mean? I'm going to ask for forgiveness as much as I possibly can. You know what I mean? But, I still, like, even after that, like, so boom, I'm in the hospital. I end up having, like, I had multiple surgeries throughout the thing. I had a skin graft on my right. I had a skin graft on my right thigh. And the plastic surgeon, she said she had been doing it for 30 years. She said this was the biggest graft she had ever done, which they took all the skin from my left thigh and they grafted it to my right thigh. Ooh. Yeah. And I got a plate in my left arm. This arm got completely broke. This finger came off. This one got severed. They sewed it back on. That's why I can only bend it like that. Doesn't interfere with me cutting hair. I'm just letting y'all know I'm still.
You're nice,
but we haven't got there yet.
Yeah, no, we haven't got there yet. But anyways, like I was in the hospital for 3 months basically, and then I was ready to go. Brought home, and I was still bedridden. You know what I mean? Like when I'm getting in and out, when I'm in the hospital, like for me to get in, I have this thing that comes over my bed. The only thing that was working on my body was my right arm. Thank God. I couldn't whenever like this show you. Oh yeah, like this scar right here.
I thought that was a tattoo.
You see that?
Okay.
Yeah, I had something called left brachial plexus nerve surgery. I had that done in Houston. That was really like my last surgery. Either that, Dr. Noblin did my knee surgery too. But I can't remember which one. I think this was, but they said this right here was going to take 7 to 10 years of recovery, and so it's been like eight years. You know what I mean? So it still hasn't came to like a full. You know what I mean? Because nerve damage is unbelievably tough to come back from. Mm-hmm. It's so tough.
Working in the PT world, we noticed that. Absolutely. Speaking of that, how was
physical
that
therapy?
PT? Yeah, how was physical therapy, man?
Oh my goodness, I'm so blessed when it came to that. Actually, my at-home physical therapist was my grandpa's physical therapist and my grandma's when they went through surgery. I was staying at their house in Hattiesburg. It was right across the street from Forest General, blessing. You know what I mean? And he actually teaches Sunday school in my grandpa's Sunday school at Main Street Methodist in Hattiesburg. Yeah. So he's the physical therapist. Shout out Martin. Boy, you brought me all the way back. You brought me back.
Come on now.
And but man, I relearned how to walk in their kitchen. Like, cause I was still bedridden. They had to have a hospital bed at the grandparents' house. I had to have, a special thing to put in the shower cause I couldn't stand at all. Yeah. So I had to shimmy shamaka my way and everything into the shower. I had to, from the wheelchair, you know what I mean? I was in a wheelchair for probably, like, after I got out of the hospital, I was in a wheelchair for probably at least half a year, I'd say. I don't know, something like that. But like, crazy. It's crazy. I had to relearn how to walk, Quan. I know none of y'all were there to see this.
No.
You know what I mean? Nobody. The only people that were there was my family.
Mm-hmm. And because, I mean, a hard head make a soft ass. And we do shit. And then a lot of times, like, our family be the one that catch the bad end of that because you don't appreciate air till you can't breathe. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
So
No, for
with that
sure.
happening, like how close did that become? How appreciative did you become even more? I already know like that love that you have for your mom, like that's
Yes.
never
Yes.
faded. But like for like the rest of your family, the rest of those people to gather and get behind you at that time, man.
I've always been like, my mom, dad only had one brother. I didn't talk about this, but my brother got murdered in 2012, and that was I forgot to talk about that, man. I sometimes I put it out of my mind, but you know, miss him every day. Yeah, he got killed in 2012. Pretty much a robbery gone wrong over in Gaucher, South Side, and very unfortunate. You know what I mean? Very unfortunate, and with that, dang, this is all part of my story. You know what I mean?
Is, man.
And but I mean, right after that, you know, that weighs heavy on a family. And like my parents, they ended up splitting after that, which they were already kind of on the brink. They were married for 28 years, you know what I mean? Which, listen, once you get like, you have to understand your parents are human, just like me and you, anybody, we have feelings, things change. My parents still love each other, you know what I mean? They still talk, but it was just one of those things, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, you know, sometimes you have to know when to stay, sometimes you have to know when to go. And, but anyways, that happened. But I think my brother dying was like, passing away, that was the kicker, you know what I mean? And, but anyways, you know, nothing really changed for me as far as like their relationship when that happened, you know, but things definitely changed for me whenever Hunter was gone, you know, because I was, you know, I think back, I was 20. So it happened right after I had kind of got in trouble, you know what I mean? I wasn't at an age to give any type of advice. Like, I wasn't even 21 yet.
Yeah.
So I wasn't in any position to try to talk to Hunter, but I mean, I was kinda, I guess, but you know, that wasn't.
You the little bro.
Yeah.
You the little bro, man.
But it's crazy to think that he was 26 and I'm 32 now, and it's like, damn, he was 26. He was young. Like, gosh, he was young when that happened. But anyways, fast forward back to the wreck. Yeah, so I get right. I'm trying to get right. I do at-home physical therapy. Shout out Martin. I'm getting in and out of the bed. I'm getting myself out of the bed. I forget what it's called, but it hangs over your bed, and it's like has a thing that you can help yourself get in and out. But with this surgery with my left, you know what I mean? Like, just like, dude, this thing was null and it's still getting strong. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't move it for a few years. I had to wear like a sling. You know what I mean? And it's still, like I said, it's still bouncing back, especially with cutting hair now, because I stay like
in
this.
that position, bro,
builds
you
it
steady
up.
working it.
And I'm no excuse. I should have been in the gym. You know what I mean? I should have been in the gym a long time. It's definitely gonna be bad. Like, and then, you know, also during my wreck, I was heavily in the gym. So the doctors told me your seatbelt, you being in solid shape in your age, is what actually saved you. That's what they said saved me.
Yeah.
You know, was the seatbelt, being in pretty good shape, and then being younger. You know what I mean?
Younger.
Because it's hard to be old and bounce back for something like that.
Yeah, that's so like having all that taken away, man.
Yeah.
And like having an able body, now all of a sudden, man, you mid-20s and you're totally dependent.
Yeah. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with my life?
Bro, how like did that? Yeah, so like, and then it's a multitude of things we can go with this one, but I want to go on like that journey, because it's like you have no purpose at this point. Like what is,
no, for sure.
Who is Hayden?
Yeah.
What is Hayden?
Yeah. No,
And-
for sure. I mean, it's
But now you are.
yeah.
So what leads you to become the barber, Hayden?
I'll put it like,
What was that?
well, look, man, like I was, look, man, I was recovering from my wreck, and I was recovering from my wreck, and then finally, like, I'm getting right in my house. I'm relearning how to walk. I'm getting a little bit stronger. People in Hattiesburg that I know, they would take me out, pick me up in the wheelchair. They would take my wheelchair with them. They'd bring me out in Hattiesburg. Shout out to all my people in Hattiesburg. Y'all know who you are. And they would wheel me around in the wheelchair. And, like, dude, I promise you, like, a workout for me, I would stand up at the bar and just try to stand. Yeah, and try to be social, dude. I would be sweating bullets after 5 minutes to stay. I'd be so out of shape, bro. I haven't used my legs in months. Like, I'm telling you, they'd be like, bro, they'd be trying to fan me. Like, I'm soaking sweat. I'm out of shape. You know what I mean?
But you just holding yourself up.
Trying to.
I picture the bar going hype when you get out of the wheelchair, like, yeah, let's
Oh,
go.
nah, yeah, definitely. It was such a strange time. You know what I mean? It was such a strange time. And, but yeah, definitely, Quan. I definitely, fun fact, I got denied disability from Mississippi 7 times. I never got a check, never anything from getting in this wreck. You know, I was just trying to get the lowest thing, which is SSI. It's not that much. They wouldn't even give it to me. So I don't know what the standards are to get disability in Mississippi, but it's not almost dying from a wreck and your whole body being torn apart and having to learn how to and losing fingers and stuff.
Be better. Y'all gotta be better.
You just gotta grind it out and figure it out after that. You know.
God bless, man.
But yeah, man. So I got to the point where it's like I got to start making money. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What am I gonna do? Well.
Go ahead.
Back it up. I think so. While I'm recovering from my my wreck or whatever, I was still on drug court when this happened. I'm still on drug court when I got my wreck. All right. So when I got my wreck, they tried, like, I wasn't calling in or checking in, and, like, they tried to say that I absconded from drug court. So basically, I thought that, like, basically I was gonna be good. I was gonna get amnesty from, you know what I mean, just to finish it out. You know, finish it out what you're doing, because I had already been on there for a minute.
Yeah.
And then one day I think they showed up. I forget where they showed up. They showed up. And they brought me straight to Jackson County.
In a wheelchair.
Nah. At this point, I was still in an arm sling. But at this point, I could get around. You know what I mean? I went from a wheelchair, and then I had like a cane. I used that for a little while. Mm-hmm. But at this time, like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, you know, and then I'm thinking they hadn't really been in contact with me.
So you're like,
yeah. So I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean. Last thing they had, like, I think they had told my mom, like, he's good, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then boom, and then snatched me up. I thought that so I sat in Jackson County for a while. I had to wait until my court date, and then they finally brought me to court after, I don't know, maybe a month or two. And I thought she was just gonna be like, boom, like, yeah, like, you're good to go, or you only have a little bit while in drug court. And she was like, boom, nope, you're in MDOC custody now. Yeah. So I went up the road. Mm-hmm.
After almost dying.
After that, then I went. Yeah. So, yeah. So, like, I'm up there. I'm not. I'm not in a position to actually for real defend myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, of course. You know what I mean? But it's just, I don't even want to get into all that. But anyways, yeah, man. Did that. Went up there and knocked out pretty much almost 2 calendar years. Almost.
Jeez.
Yeah. Almost. Yeah. So
God,
and then basically I pretty much almost did everything I needed. Like, that was all my, you know what I mean? So when I came home, I was pretty much done. Yeah. So it was like a couple months, and then boom, I was done. And then boom, like, in Mississippi, first time drug offense, if that's it and that's all you've had, you can get your record expunged like that. Yeah.
There we go.
So boom. Yeah. But a lot of lessons learned after that. Definitely came home, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Yeah. And tried to figure it out for a while. And I started.
Push it in perspective, bro. Like this is from if I got the timeline correct.
No,
this is from 18 to damn 26, 27.
Yeah, bro.
Almost 30, yeah.
You're almost 30. Like your whole 20s is absolute turmoil.
Yeah.
So for him to be looking at us today
Bro.
as a professional, that's what you just said, that y'all just got voted the best.
Oh yeah, no, top three beauty. By the way, I'm a barber.
Yeah.
I just graduated barber school. I'm waiting to go up to Jackson and take my state board. It's just a slow process because the barber board in Mississippi it's a mess right now, and there's no board right now, and they have to wait till January. They've been waiting all year, but certain people weren't appointed when they were supposed to be appointed, and they have to be appointed by the governor. You know what I mean? And then it's a board, and they have to vote on that for the board members, you know? So anyways, somebody dropped the ball on that. There hasn't been a board for a while, so it's been in limbo. But yeah. Yeah.
But how did you get, like, again, it's God is real. God is real, man.
Mm-hmm.
So with you going through all of that, and now you've established yourself, but how did that get to that point where, like, you like not just want to make money, but you want to make an impact in the community or
purpose.
whatnot? Finding your purpose, man.
First, I mean, I think it just comes with age. I mean, for me, you know what I mean? Just like, I mean, but before I knew I wanted to become a barber, you know, and I came home, I had to figure out what I wanted to do with the F on my back for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Before I could get everything handled.
Mm-hmm.
And I got blessed, and I started living that blue collar life, man. You know what I mean? I started building scaffolding.
Yeah.
I started building scaffolding there's two different companies. I worked for World Scaffold out of Goshen for a little bit. Shout out Max Wampald, you know, my dog. And then I worked for a company called ProServe, and they were out of like Kentucky, I think it was. But man, I got blessed through some of my buddies. You know Diego? You know Diego Ortiz? Yeah. Shout out Diego. Diego got me on. He got me on building scaffold. Never had done it in my life. You know what I mean? But, you know, to make that kind of money, I didn't see what else I was going to do. Plus, it was about to be a process for me to build my body back because I'm weak. Yeah. You know what I mean? My shoulder is not what it is. My legs are weak. You know what I mean? Like, even after a few years, like 3-4 years after wreck, I'm still definitely trying to get right. You know what I mean? Which I could have gotten to the gym a while ago. But, you know, like I've told you plenty of times, after you've been in the gym, and you know how you get down in the gym, you know how you operate, and you do get down like a dog. It's hard to kind of get back whenever you don't move the same way. You know what I mean? It's hard to get back whenever you move different. You know, you have different ranges of motion and things like that. But that's still no excuse. It's still no excuse. Quan's been trying to get me to come here for a minute, and I should have a long time ago. That's on me. I will go.
We got him here. We got him here with this one.
But anyways. I started building scaffold, man, and like that's something I had no idea about, you know.
Yeah.
I just I worked with a lot of Spanish folk, and most of the time I was pretty much the only gringo, you know what I mean? And it was an experience though that I was supposed to go through. You know what I mean? And it was great. I mean, it wasn't like great, but it was a great experience just to be able to work, get my body back up under me, physical labor. I mean, these guys work hard. These guys, they earn it. These guys earn it 4 or 5 a.m. till 7, 8 at night if they have to. You know what I mean? And like but like with this company, we're on the road. You know, we work at an energy plant, so this is good money.
Yeah, this
is good money. So, you know, I was blessed to get in that situation. And I was on the road. So I started getting better at scaffold.
Yeah.
I started, you know what I mean? I was like, well, I can go out there and make this amount of money in a month. I stay for 3 months, I make this amount. I come back home, I don't have to work for 4 or 5 months. You know what I mean? You know, I can pay it. It's enough to cover my rent and for me to live. I don't have any kids, no pets. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, my car's paid off. You know what I mean? So I can make all that money on the road, come back, and do what I want, you know? And I did that for a while. I did that. It was the first time I really like had like real money in my pocket, you know what I mean, I guess, to do like as I pleased, something that wasn't fast, something that was steadfast, that wasn't going anywhere, you know what I mean? Like, and, but it was, like I said, it was a good experience. And then from there, I went and I got the opportunity to work with my buddy, Michael Richardson, shout out. I'm getting everybody that's been a part of it, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna shout your name out. And Michael Richardson, man, he's from Long Beach. We actually served at Shaggy's together back in the day. And, you know, good experience, good dude, but he thought of me because he knew I was already on the road, and he was transitioning into different jobs. You know what I mean? He had moved out to San Antonio, and he was already a manager down here at Shaggy's. You know, he'd worked at Shaggy's for a minute, and he had been, I think, manager at multiple restaurants, but he was kind of wanting to get out of it. And I was doing my thing with Scaffold, and like I want to get out of it. You know, I'm trying to. Dude, I did not want to wake up at that early and just grind all day. Like, shout out to everybody. I have so much respect for everybody that does that, because it's a grown man's job, and you provide for your families. There's nobody can ever take that away from you. It's just tough. And I want to do something else. You know what I mean? But like I said, I went through that for a reason. And then anyways, my buddy, he provided the opportunity for me. I started becoming a training superintendent for a company called NCE General Contractors out of San Antonio. So we built Planet Fitnesses.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, we built Planet Fitnesses. And it was that was a really cool experience. You know what I mean? Being able to go through all that, you know, actually be able to read these blueprints, get familiar with blueprints, and they're like architects, and you know, it's there's a lot that goes into it. You know, you don't know how much goes into it until like you build them from the ground up. And like, well, not necessarily like the company, they do build them from the ground up, but they also take shells of like old grocery stores and completely redo it. You know what I mean? Turn it into a Planet Fitness. And I did that for a few years, and I had a great experience. You know what I mean? Like with building Scaffold, like I was out in Ohio for a while. I was out in Kentucky for a little while. And that's another thing. I think this really helped me when I started doing this, and like I was home, and like I was trying to find my way. You know what I mean? Whenever I went on that road, that shit get lonely. That's whenever you get by yourself, that's whenever you start to really figure out who you are. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You get closer to God, huh?
You know what I mean? Like, closer to God, just appreciative of the small things in life, which are the most important things in life. Yeah, man, just growing by yourself, and you know, it's different. It's good to be able to see how people can take you in a different state, in a whole different area, compared to like where you grew up. You know what I mean? It's a different thing. You know, you can see how people really gauge you when people don't have any preconceived notions.
Yes.
You know, and that's important to see, you know what I mean? That's why vacations are great, you know what I mean? It's great to go and just, you know what I mean, get out of what you've been doing every day, and like, you know, you always feel different when you come back from a vacation.
That's true. So you did, so we did the scaffolding. We built the
Planet Fitness, a few of them. Yeah.
So we're going to hit to the big shebang.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
How do we get to
going
into a culture?
Well, dude, I mean, before, like, for years I've been paying to get. I've been paying to get a fade, like a clean fade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and take the hat off. Let them know that.
I've been paying, which I can't cut I need to get one of those 3D mirrors, because I do want to cut my whole entire head, but I fade myself up. I cut my own hair.
There we go.
But anyways, like I really just like to keep it a tight fade, you know what I mean? And then I finally walked into a predominantly black barber shop, and then I figured it out. These are where I'm going to get the cleanest fades. But it does, you know what I mean? But that's just the notion of that I got, because I had never been around hair or anything, and I had never been around really any Caucasian barbers that are just absolutely cold, you know?
Yeah.
Because my thing was like, like I didn't know like any like cold white barbers, I guess you could, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got Cox's in Ocean Springs. Shout out Cox's. Shout out Bobby Cox, mayor of Ocean Springs. You know what I mean? Definitely paved the way. He's a barber. Okay. And and like starting, Cox's barbershop. And that's where I got my haircut there from growing up. You know what I mean? I'm just a slightly different style of cut, but I didn't know that until I went into school. But anyways, I guess what I'm trying to say is like I would go into these barbershops and that's where I would get my fade, because I wanted to stay crispy. I'm telling you, bro, I'm paying $50 every 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks.
Gotta have
I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's important. A solid haircut's important, and like it can change people's lives. It can change people's perspectives of everything, And but anyways, I just like to stay clean, and then I started thinking about it. I just started thinking about how, what I pay my barbers. And then, I mean, from there, like, no shots at all. But from there, you know what I mean? I never could find that barber that had a super nice, that could give me a super nice clean fade, but also style my hair and cut it the way I wanted to. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So to myself, I'm like, I could probably do that. You know what I mean? I'm like, I could probably do that. I'm like, I know I have a pretty steady hand. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then it was just the unknown of nobody in my family's ever touched hair. I tried to talk to my parents. They were a little weary, like, are you sure? You know what I mean? Like, you're 30, 31, like, you know what I mean? Like, but I was still trying to really, and this was on my heart years ago. Yeah. I had thought about this when I was building scaffolding. I was like, should I cut hair? Like, you know what I mean? One of my exes brought it up one time, like, why don't you just go to barber school? And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. Just, and whenever you don't know, you're just scared sometimes. Yep. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Mm-hmm. That's why it's so important to jump into it with faith. Man.
And you did.
I mean? We're never supposed to be scared. We're never supposed to feel sorry for ourselves either, ever. And, jumped into it, man. I jumped into it. Was it 2025? I jumped into it the week after Halloween 2024. And then I just graduated the day before. I think it was the day of Halloween. I think I graduated on Halloween. Yeah. I think I finished. But yeah, so it's like, and then while I was in school, I was so nervous in the beginning. Like, bro, I didn't touch my first head until like March of this year, like January, February, March. Yeah, like March. So I've progressed really quickly, very fast. Like but I haven't let up at all. You know what I mean? Okay. And once you really find that thing, it's an unbelievable feeling. I can't describe it. Being able to, I don't feel like this is work. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. I don't feel like this is work. You know what I mean? And like, I can, my thing is, I can really make people look good. You know what I mean? And I have so far to go in this game. But I have the vision and I know where I'm going. You know what I mean? I know exactly where I'm going. I know what I'm, I know what this can grow into. You know what I mean? And it's just exciting. And I know there's always going to be bumps. Yeah. There's always going to be bumps in the road. You know what I mean? Just don't let it, you know what I mean? Like, you never know when your time is. You never know when your time is. And it's like, it's just, I prayed for it, and like, I was scared. I was so scared in the beginning. I was like, nobody in my family, like I said, nobody in my family's ever cut hair. There's no, like, but what I did was, I wasn't trying to count pockets. Mm-hmm. But nah, man, like, I really went to all my barber buddies. And I'm like, shout out Justin Johnson, 601. He beat Brian, you know what I mean? Like, monsters, you know what I mean? But these are guys that I thought about whenever I was like, they live pretty good lives. You know what I mean? Justin's retired from the military, firefighter. You know what I mean? He flips houses on the side. Like, barbering allows him to do all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and he plays in the, you know what I mean? He's played guitar. I mean, bass in his dad's church band. You know what I mean? Justin, he takes trips when he wants. You know, has a beautiful family, you know, having kids. I know he's giving his kids the world. You know what I mean? I see that, and look, like, you know, you like, I think at a younger age, maybe in your early 20s, you're like, what can I do to get rich? You know, what can I do to make the most money? But if you just grind at what you're doing and believe in it, I just feel like you're never gonna go without, and you're eventually gonna find yourself in a position where, like, you don't need anything. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just a process to get there. You know what I mean? And a belief that you have to be steadfast. You can't be idle in what you do. You know what I mean? The Bible says, whenever you jump into something with faith. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's going to happen or not happen. Keep going, because it's going to happen eventually. You know. Man, I wish I
hating on the road, baby.
I wish, you know, I am fine. Like, in, you know, this is, you know, truth. Like, out of all these years, you know, my dad, he'd always drop bangers on me, Bible verses, different things that always, you know, perfect for any, you know, shout out dad, you know, and I mean, mom as well, you know what I mean? But like, you're not going to know about Jesus. You're not going to know about God until you actually pick up that Bible and start reading for yourself. That's it. You know what I mean? Church is one thing. It's fantastic. You know what I mean? Bible studies are fantastic. You know, morning devotionals are fantastic. It's all great. You know, luncheons but until you actually pick up that Bible and you start reading, I don't know. I feel like God's always gonna, you know, He knows who you are. You know what I mean? But I just feel like, you know, a lot started happening for me as well when I started trying to be obedient to that Bible. And I'm not always obedient by any means, not perfect. I mess up a lot. And, but, you know, God went on that cross, did what He needed to do. You know, we don't have to be, you know what I mean? We don't have to do all these things that already happened. He paid the price, you know? But anyways, no, just faith, you know, faith in what I'm doing now. And everything's happened rapidly right now. And I feel blessed. And, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Come on,
blessing.
man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Look, I usually have a question, but Hayden answered that question and then some, you know? So with that being said, thank you for coming this time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll catch you next time.
Yeah.
But please do not let it be your last time. And we're out.